Morning, everybody. Oh no, I'm not even live on here. I think I'm live on here, and I'm like, morning. I haven't even pressed the button. Just doing my Instagram down here. So give me a second. And welcome. Hello, Saliha. Good morning, darling. How are you doing? Are you well? How was your week? Let me just put this up here. Let me know how you're doing. And everybody who joins, welcome, and let me know how you are. It's Friday. It's 11 a.m. In UK time, and this is Resilience Live. So Resilience Live is a live stream that I do for about half an hour every Friday to talk about all things to do with resilience and well-being and performance in your personal and professional lives. And we talk about all sorts of different topics. Today I'm going to be talking about controlling the controllables. This is a really, really important one. It's something that I'm still learning to do, but it's really, really key if you want to be resilient and well and happy and productive and move forward in your life. You must learn to control the controllables. Saliha says, I hope you are too. I assume there's another comment. I'm assuming you're well. Thank you, darling. I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm good. I'm juggling a lot of things, and I'm not sure how well I'm doing at that. And I think it's one of those things where it's a lot of stuff in the head, right? So there's things out there that need to be done as well. And those things take time, and that is juggling. Yeah, there's a lot to juggle physically, but often when we're experiencing, a lot going on, it can be a lot in the head. It's too many things that you're thinking about, too many things that you're questioning, too many things that you need to sort of ponder in your mind and create and so on. And for me, that becomes really overwhelming. So that's a bit annoying. Celia says, I can't see you again, but hear you. Great. This happened last time, didn't it? So let me do, because I remember Umesh saying that he could still see me. So I'm going to just press like the cam thing again. I don't know if it'll make any difference. Or I don't know if you want to refresh your screen. I don't think it really. Sorry, lovely. I don't know what else to do. But maybe if you do a refresh or something. Don't know where you're watching me on the phone, on the app. I don't know what else to do. I tried what I did last time, Slias, which is stop the camera and then go back on. I don't think I can really do anything else. If anyone else has a problem, let me know. But as long as you can hear me, that's also great. That's the main thing, is the message that I would love you to hear today. And it is all about controlling the controllables. And it's funny, I'm just getting a message from someone about this exact topic. Let me just send a message 1 second, lovelies, and then I'll be with you. Okay, good. So control the controllables, my sweet souls. Do you know what? Have I just turned off my Instagram? Oh, what's going on today? I'm sorry. I'm here. I'm back. All right, we're doing this now. And if you can see me now, Celia, let me know. I don't know what else to do about it, though. What came to me this morning was, this word of control, and actually, what I want to say first when I talk about control is that I'm not saying that we need to be in control of everything. There's a lot of negative connotations with the word control. And I'd like you actually just to sit with me for a minute and close your own eyes if you can, if it's safe to, if you're not like driving or anything like that, or busy doing something or cooking or whatever. And just in your own intuitive mind, your own wisdom, just take that word control. And what does it mean to you? What sort of imagery, emotions does that bring up for you? Because it can really tell you a lot about your relationship with control, which is often unhealthy, I think, if not always. I'm not going to say that, though, because I don't know yet. But so for me, when I think about control, and I'd love you to tell me in the comments what you get. So when I think about control and I visualize it a lot, and my brain thinks very visually. So I often have to close my eyes just to really get the image clear. And when I think about control, what it means for me is I have to control everything out there as much as possible because everything out there is unsafe and I don't have control. And that makes me feel really, really terrified. So for me, control is about I don't have control in this crazy complex world. And that makes me feel terrified. And that brings up a lot of fear. That the outside world is very risky, could harm me. Lots of things could go wrong. And so for me, my relationship to control is fear-based to try and keep myself safe. That's how I see control. And by the way, that's not healthy or functional or living to your optimal potential and way of living. So we'll go into that a little bit, I think, as we go through. But some people might come up with the word control in their mind's eye, and what they might see, what comes up for me, is that it's about doing things right. So some people might be like, I have to control the process and line everything up and make sure it all fits together and it comes in the way that it's supposed to and happens according to the rules. Because for them, control is about keeping the status quo, the stability, the rules, the rightness of how we do things. And so it can seem like a very we've got to do things right type thing. And it's like, I feel better when we do things right. So I must control how the process is done, how other people behave. So that's another relationship to control. What might be another relationship to control that someone might have? It could be a very deeply emotional, manipulative one where it's like, when I'm thinking about people, controlling other people, it could be from a place of deep insecurity. Someone could be like, I got to control people because I need their love. I need them to do what makes me happy. If they leave me, I'm going to be really scared and I'm going to be in so much pain. If they don't respect me, then I'm going to be in so much pain. So again, it's a protection mechanism. Control is very, very often all about protection. So what I'm getting is that control for me is, I'm not sitting here saying we got to get in control and come from this dysfunctional place of trying to control, because what I also realized is that we really don't really have any control and the world is chaos. I just sat back this morning and I looked around me and I thought, look at my life. And I think I'm in control. I'm making choices. I'm taking the actions. I know what I want, blah, 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 blah. But think about everything I'm interacting with, this technology. I didn't make that. That was done by something someone else controlled, and then it's ended up playing a role in my experience. People watching and everything that's going on. I decided to pick up the pen, but who made that? There's so many things in my experience. If I just sit back and look around me and just experience that in my mind's eye, I don't have hardly any control of all these things around me that are playing a role in my experience. And it's like I'm a part of a system. I'm a part of a bigger structure. And the reality of life is, whilst I can make choices and do actions within that, I don't have control ultimately. And there are so many things in my life, I'm sure you can relate, that have turned out in a way that you never would have expected or predicted. Because you don't actually have full control, if any control. Maybe we can entertain that idea if it doesn't scare you too much, of actually surrendering to the idea that you don't have control of anything that happens in life. And that could either be scary or liberating. And whichever one it is entirely up to you and how you perceive it. So let's move on to something that I think is really important with this whole control thing. Celia just said you can't see me, but you can hear me, so that's good. If anyone else is watching on this screen in front of me, let me know if you can see me, hear me, anything like that, if you're having any issues. See if I can try and rectify that at some point. Thank you, lovely, for letting me know. I don't know if it's me or you, but hopefully that will sort itself out as well. and can't control it. See, look how life is giving us the lessons. Because I could be like, oh my God, I've got to fix that. I've got to control it. I've got to speak to Celia. I've got to figure out what's going wrong. I've got to go into all the settings on my computer. I've got to control the situation. I don't know. I can't control it. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what was going on in the tech. I have no control over that right now. I've done what I can do, and now I have to let it go. But some people will really get on that and go down that rabbit hole and chase this problem down the road for 10 miles, trying to solve it, trying to fix it. And then you're like, what are you doing down there? You're 10 miles down the road. You're not even near your house anymore. What are you doing? What are you doing? Because we've got to control. We've got to control. But that's dysfunctional. It's not helpful. So the skill here, my sweet souls, is learning in any scenario or in life generally, and I'll give you a tool for this in a moment, so simple, so quick, is what you can and can't control. The reason many people are unhappy, stressed, unresilient, unproductive, and their lives just stay the same and don't change is because they put so much energy, and as I say every week, energy is the currency of your life. Where are you spending it? Are you getting a return on the investment? Most people don't. They put their energy into things that do not give them a return on the investment because they are things that they cannot actually control, influence, move, shape in any way. And therefore, they're just met with nothingness, and they pour the energy into that, get nothing out, and they wasted their energy. They're depleted, and now they're probably resentful, unhappy, depressed, and so on. So a classic example is the worldly events. Now, I'm not saying don't care about them. I'm not saying don't pay attention to them. But some people will spend hours and hours and hours reading about them, talking about them, posting about them on social media, often because most things that we get told are negative, probably being angry about them, being sad about them, being upset about them, and they just go on and on and on. And the reality is you're taking your energy out of your system, your time, and you're putting it into this pot of stuff that you're choosing, and you cannot affect those things. Maybe there's little things you can do. Depends on your job. Maybe it depends on your business. Maybe you work in government. Maybe you can affect the political things. Maybe you can't. I don't know. But ultimately, you can't affect those things. And so you've just wasted your energy because you've put it into this pot and nothing's cooking in there. You're not cooking anything. And then you go back into your life and your energy is depleted and you haven't solved anything. You haven't moved forward in any way. So it's a complete waste of energy. And we do this in all areas. So it's really important to know what you can and can't control. And the most resilient, successful people who move through life, even through the most challenging times, with a level of calm and productivity and alignment, they are the ones who know what they can and can't control, and they're navigating that in every given moment and choosing to direct their attention and their energy, the currency of their life force, in each moment into the place that's going to cook something in the pot and give something back. So what else can you waste your energy? You can waste your energy on things you can't control, on people, on opinions of other people, whatever. I can't do anything about it. I could waste my energy trying to figure out why Saliha couldn't see me for a minute, although she can now. Thank you for letting me know. But look, it got resolved anyway. Didn't need me. So that's the other thing, which I'm going to talk about now with this tool. It's not just about controlling what you can control and knowing what those things are. It's controlling what you have responsibility for controlling. I'm going to say that again. Controlling what you have responsibility for controlling. It is not your job to save everybody. It's not your responsibility to do so. It may not be your responsibility to get involved in a particular conflict that may be happening around you. It's not your responsibility to go and educate some person down the street about something that you think that could help them in their lives, even though it doesn't really have anything to do with you, and you might be doing it with the best intentions because you think you want to help that person. But is it your responsibility to assert yourselves into their experience? Maybe it's not. So you're also wasting your energy because you're not going to get a return on that investment, because it's not your place to be there. It's not your responsibility. So to really master yourself, your resilience, your well-being, let me show you the tool. It's so simple. You're going to love it. I hope you use it. This is a really, really helpful thing to do. And it's basically called mapping your spheres of control. So I do this in my trainings, and it's so simple. And all I want you to do, now you can do this on anything. I'll talk a bit about that in a moment. All I want you to do is get a piece of paper and you draw out 3 circles. And the one in the middle is things I can control and have responsibility to control. Outside that, you draw another one, that's influence. Things I can influence and have a responsibility in some way to influence. And then outside is things I can't control and things that are not my responsibility to control. So just for the Instagrammers, this is the model. In the circle in the middle, you draw things I can control and have responsibility to control. You draw a ring outside of that, and the things that go in that ring are the things I can influence and have a responsibility to influence. The things outside of that are the things I cannot control and don't have a responsibility to control. And then basically what you do is you be brutally honest with yourself, you tune into your own inner wisdom, and you just get a pen and you start filling that out. What is actually in my control? What can I actually influence, and do I have responsibility for influencing that? And what can I actually not control and actually isn't even my responsibility, and thus will remove it from my space, my energy, and so on. And you can do this in your general life. You can just sit down. If you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're struggling, you might be stuck in this where you're putting your energy into things out here that deplete you, not putting it here, which is in your source and your center where your power is, and actually gets you results and moves you forward and builds your resilience, happiness, well-being, confidence, all sorts. So you can do a a little stock of your life. What can I control in my life? What do I have responsibility for controlling in my life? What can I influence? What do I have responsibility for influencing? What can I not control, and what do I not have responsibility for controlling or influencing in my life? You could do this on a particular project. So I have a project to deliver at work, and I'm like, oh, okay, just check in. What do I have control over in this project and responsibility for? What can I influence? What don't I have control over? And you may find, and you can do it about a relationship. You could do it about a particular problem in the world that seems to take a lot of your energy. You could pick any topic for this. You could do it about your day. So today, when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to draw this, and I'm going to say and ask myself, obviously, truthfully, honestly, what do I have control over today? Okay, this. What can I influence today? This. What do I not have control over, and it's not my responsibility, whatever those things are. And you've got to be honest with yourself. You know, here's some tips. You can't control other people. You simply cannot, and it's not your responsibility to do so. So if you've put in here, I've got control over my children, I've got control over my colleagues, I've got control over whoever. No, you don't, darlings. Maybe you can influence. Maybe they're in your influence box. You can influence them, but you cannot control someone else. What about yourself? So let's just play with this. So for me, what can I control? I'm going to do a general life one and just see what comes to me. What can I control? I can control In most cases, my behavior, unless I'm very unconscious, which we all have moments of, but generally I can control my behavior. I can control how I spend my time. I can control the information that I take in, the books that I read, the accounts that I follow. I can control how much time I spend on social media, possibly wasting energy and getting no return, scrolling through rubbish, not creating content, but scrolling. But that may be difficult to control because it's very addictive. But the point is, that's within my sphere of control. No one else has got that for me. That's in me. What else can I control? I control how I spend my money. I can control how I manage my money. I can control planning my day. I can control where I choose to allocate my time. I can control how much time I spend on certain things. Blah, 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 blah. You get the picture. It's all about me mostly, right? It's me. That's what resilient people understand. They know that their sphere of influence and control, or their locus of control, I beg your pardon, is here. And the more you bring it here and draw it here, all your energy comes in. Imagine like in those movies like superheroes and things, and with the force, is it Luke? I've not watched Star Wars, sorry to offend anybody who loves that stuff. But you know, the force is in you, right? Bring the energy. You are an energy being. Bring that energy back in. Now I can use that energy to create wonderful things. But if I'm putting it out there to let's go to the next circle in my life as an example, things I can influence. What can I influence? I can influence people by creating a video. I can influence people who may watch this by sharing some information. I can influence my clients by creating a piece of work that I then give to them that we then work together on. I can influence the person who makes my coffee in the coffee shop by asking for a coffee. I've influenced their behavior because they're going to get me a coffee. What else can I influence? I can influence... to be honest, that's all that's really coming to me at the moment on influence. What can I not control and what is not my responsibility to control? Let me see. In my life, what can I not? I cannot control the behavior of other people, past, present, or future. I cannot control other people's opinions of me, past, present, or future. I cannot control the way people treat me, past, present, or future. I could influence that potentially by the way I behave and the way I teach people to treat me, but ultimately I can't control them. What else can I not control? I cannot control the place in which I live. It's not my space. I cannot control the way people behave. I cannot control the economy. I cannot control the news. I cannot control the world and the problems out there. I cannot control the wars. There's so much stuff I can't control. And so do you know what I do? Easier for the things that are a bit further away than the things that are closer to me, but I'm learning, and particularly for the bigger things, to just not pay attention to it. Leave it. That was the title of this clip. Control the controllables and leave the rest. And if you have that tendency of control that I spoke about when we started the session, I've got to control, I'm not talking about that. And when you try to leave the things that you can't control, that part of you will be grabbing for it to come back to it because it relies on it. It's a crutch. It feels powerful when it has something to say about what's going on out there. It feels powerful when it tries to control somebody else. It's an illusory power. Inside, it's incredibly fragile, incredibly weak. True control, powerful control, is self-mastery, control of this in any given moment. Bringing your energy, all your forces back in here and knowing that here is where my power is. And then dishing out your energy and channeling it towards things that are actually going to give you some kind of return. That's where the true power is. So there will be a part of you that will resist when you try to actually stop giving energy to things that you can't control or are not in your responsibility to control, because it feels like it's going to be unsafe. It feels like it's losing its power. That's not true. It's an illusion of power, an illusion of control. So letting that part of you die almost, it's like an ego death, we call it, or a pacification of it is more accurate, letting it settle down and surrendering to the fact that you don't really have control of anything. Whose life has ever turned out in exactly the way that you planned by everything you did? No, there's always other influences affecting your life, whether it's physical ones here or magical, mystical, supernatural ones, which I thoroughly believe in, that are absolutely shaping the direction of my life. So you don't have control, but you have an ability to decide. Maybe rather than the word control, it's choose. You get choice where to put your energy. So I get to choose how I act. I get to choose what I think about. I get to choose what I talk about. I get to choose what I focus on. That's the only thing I really have control over, is choice. I have choice. I may not have control, but I have choice, and I can take action. After I've done the action, where the cards fall, what the outcome is, I again have to surrender, because I can't control that. But I have a choice to make an action, and I take the action, and that's that. I can't control anything else. And so that self-mastery, and again, it's not about coming from a place of, because even as I said those words, I feel a weakness in them, because it's like, for me, it's like, you know, it's almost like saying, well, then I'm powerless, so why bother, you know, because I can't control anything. And that's not the energy that I want to get across here. I'm still learning this and embodying it, which is why I think it doesn't come across so clearly immediately. But when you really understand this, the energy of control is very calm and powerful, and knowing how to work the universe, knowing how to work life from a place of real confidence and empowerment, not from a place of, oh, well, I don't have control anyway, so why bother? That's not what I'm going for here. That's weak. That's dysfunctional. You've got agency, you've got choice, you can take action, stand in that power, choose where to put your energy, what you can actually influence and control, what is your responsibility, your spheres, draw it out, work it out on any scenario, and then choose wisely. And then let the cards fall, then let the magic of the things that you can't control do what they want to do. And then you see again, oh, what's everything looking like now? Roll the dice again, take your action. Oh, how does it fall? Don't know. Let's work with what the answer is. That's really more about, you know, having a sort of self-mastered level of control. So that, I think, is really it. As always, I go off on some little tangents there. But really, I would love for you to just do the little diagram if you feel like this is something that resonates with you. And again, only if this resonates, you know. I said this in the last live, don't take people's advice. And what I meant there is that take advice through the wisdom of your own being, of your own soul, of your own wisdom, and filter it through that. Don't just blindly follow. If all of everything I've said to you sounds like nonsense and you didn't get it, and this sounds like a waste of time, please leave it. Absolutely no problem. But if it resonates and you think it might help you in whatever you're going through, just take 10 minutes to map it out. What can I control, and what is in my responsibility to control? What can I influence and is in my responsibility to influence? What can I not control, and what is not in my responsibility to control? And then you gotta put those things aside. You come back to the central circle first. These are the things I can control, and that's where you start. That's where you put your energy, because that's where you'll get a return on investment. You'll get results, and then you'll build your confidence, and that builds your well-being and your resilience, and you feel good, and then you get going and you build momentum. Now your life starts to flow. Don't waste your energy on things that you cannot control and influence. So Leah says, agree. We haven't put any of your comments and your beautiful face on the screen today. Let's do one there. And agree with the responsibility part of control. Yeah, and the thing is, Leah, I actually only learned that part recently. So the spheres of control I've been doing for many years, but the responsibility part is really important. And I learned the importance, because you may often think that just because you can control or influence something that you should. And maybe let's take an easy to understand example. if you're in a project team and everybody has a role, you may be able to control or influence something that that person on your team is actually responsible for doing. It's not your responsibility to do their job, but you may do it because you think, well, I can and I can do it. I've got control over that if I really wanted to. But is it right? Is it your responsibility to do that? Or is it that person's responsibility to do that? And if you go and jump in on their responsibility, now you're putting energy there. You won't have energy for your own stuff. Now your own stuff's going to get left behind, or maybe you're going to get resentful because you're helping this other person doing all their job. Did they even ask you to? Is it even your responsibility? So the responsibility, I'm really glad, as always, you nail it, Saliha. Bringing that up is really important. Know what your responsibilities are. Equally, don't shirk your responsibilities. Don't delude yourself into saying, well, I can't do anything about that. It's not in my control or my responsibility. Don't be lazy. No, there are things that you don't want to face that actually are in your control and your responsibility. I had someone say once on a training, I said, it was about their diary management. I said, look, one of the things you can control is how you spend your time managing your own time. And they said, oh, but someone else does. I don't have control over my diary. Like, so I assume someone else books all their appointments in and all that sort of stuff. So it's overwhelmed and you know, probably doesn't look the way they want it to go. Be wary of saying things like that to yourself. So she put that diary into can't control, not my responsibility. That's a dangerous thing to do without really thinking it through. Because your time, your diary, you're willing to sit there right now and say that my life for 8 hours a day is not in my control or my responsibility potentially. That's bad. Check yourself. Don't say things like that to yourself. It's your life. Yes, you work in a company. Yes, you have bosses. Yes, you have colleagues. Yes, they have influence, but it's your life. You stand up and say, right, I need to look at my diary. Can we look at it together? Here are some things that work for me. Here are some things that don't work for me. Here are some things that we need to achieve as a team. How can we make that work? Can we? And then you start to, because you took responsibility and control from a functional, empowered place by taking your diary and your time from the circle of I don't have control to yes, I do in the middle. Now, what would I do? See? So yeah, really good, Leah. Thank you for that. Sometimes we feel like everything is our responsibility, which is not true exactly. And particularly if you are a helper personality, like some of us are, a carer personality, you will naturally feel more you know, if you're an empath, you pick up on a lot of other people's emotions and struggles and the challenges and the pains, and oh, it can be really consuming. And then you think, I've got to fix this, I've got to help this. No, you don't. And if that is you, even more reason to do this exercise, because you're wasting your energy on things that are not your responsibility, not because you shouldn't care, or that, you know, you're silly, or I get it. It comes from here. It's a beautiful thing to be so empathetic and caring and want to help. But you wake up each day with a battery of energy. And if you are giving it to everybody and all these things that are not really for you, you get nothing left for yourself, and then you wonder, why do I burn out? Why am I depressed? Why am I unhappy? Why is my life not moving? It's all very logical. When you unpick human behavior, you can see exactly why we experience what we experience in our lives on a micro level and a macro level. So, you know, it's really important to reflect. Self-awareness is the #1 life skill. Your life is not an accident. There are mystical, magical things happening that I can't control, as we said, but a lot of what we experience is our own behavior. So, hey, I'm going to call it a day, as it is 33 minutes past. As Leah says, thumbs up. Thanks, my darling. Thank you for being here again and commenting, as always, with some awesome, awesome comments. And if you watch this later, anybody who's watching this later, do put your comments into the chat as well, because I'd love to come back and read them and see what you thought about this topic. If you try the topic, try the tool, please do let me know how did it go for you. 10 minutes with a cup of tea, that's all you need. You don't even need the cup of tea. Whatever else you want, but you need 10 minutes, maybe 5. Draw it out, map it out, and suddenly things become clear and you go, oh, okay. And then you can say, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not focusing on that anymore. And you put all your energy into this, and boom. Watch how you feel different, act different, get different results. Good luck with it, my sweet souls. Take care. I'm going to shoot now. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you again next week, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Take good care. Bye-bye.